Hello everyone, I'm delighted to be a part of the 10th Annual International Igbo Conference, aptly titled A New Dawn. It is indeed a new dawn, because it is said that we are now in the Aquarian age, the age of enlightenment. And it is in this time that people are expected in more numbers than ever before to seek for true enlightenment. My name is Dr. Chukwueloka Umeh, and I'm here to share with you a small fraction of what my father, Professor Emeritus J.A. Umeh, taught me about Igbo spirituality. Now, Igbo or African spirituality is based on the basic tenet that the world was created by Chukwueloka, the supreme spirit that is knowledge and wisdom that reveals itself. It is also based on the basic tenets of the knowledge of good and bad, right and wrong. The Igbos believe that for there to be balance in the world, there must be balance in humanity, which is where the golden rule of do unto others as you want them to do to you comes into play. In Igbo land, we say, "Nwa mmụọ emegbuna nwa mmadụ, nwa mmadụ emegbuna nwa mmụọ," which translates to, the spirit child should not mistreat the human child, and human child should not mistreat the spirit child. Igbo or African spirituality spans many varied but intertwined subjects that touch on Chukwu, Dibia, Chi, Agwu, Idemili, Ana, Afa, Ogwu, and so on and so forth. Each of these are subjects that take a lifetime of dedicated study to start to scratch the surface. It is not a subject that can be taught online or just by reading a few books or manuscripts. And one must have a spiritual foundation of some sort to even begin to understand the basic teachings. Now, to help the uninitiated in the journey of life, we were given the Dibia. In the simplest definition, a Dibia is a master of knowledge and wisdom. Before one can delve deeper into Igbo spirituality, there are some very basic ideologies that one must understand and embrace. Now, the first one is truth. Whoever intends to pursue Igbo or African spirituality needs to stick to the truth. It is not for those whose intentions are to deceive, defraud, or mislead. You cannot say one thing and practice another. Whoever approaches it with falsehood will pay dearly here or in the hereafter. Life is a continuum, and the evil that one does must be paid for either during one's lifetime or thereafter. And there's only one truth, and that is truth. It is not a subject of debate, and it's not a subject of argument or negotiation. In Igbo land, we say, "Ezioku bondo," truth is life. Second, the world is a cosmos and not a chaos. Whoever disturbs the cosmic equilibrium or balance must pay to restore it. There's no way around this. Nobody can escape this. Therefore, if you do good, good will come back to you one way or the other. If you do evil or bad will come back to you. If you point a bad index finger or akanlo at someone, the rest of your fingers will be pointing back at you. Therefore, Igbo spirituality enjoins you to abhor evil doing, selfishness, hatred, and so on and so forth. It compels you to truly love one another as you love yourself, and that really is the golden rule. The third thing is Ofor. Ofor is the spirit and symbol of truth, justice, fairness, and fair play, and is fundamental to Igbo spirituality. There is no way anyone can falsely claim to hold Ofor, because Ofor says that one cannot claim by mere word of mouth, that he or she is holding Ofor. It is only Ofor that knows who holds Ofor. In Igbo land, we say Ofor ma onye jia. We also say that Ofor ki idide wani. That means it is the Ofor that the earthworm uses to part the earth for it to move through the earth. And Oji Ofor Ghana, as long as you stand on Ofor or stand with Ofor, you hold Ofor, you would always be vindicated. Anyone acting against the basic dictates of Ofor na Ogu is heaping coals of fire and more upon himself or herself. The fourth thing is Igbo spirituality is limitless knowledge and wisdom. Much of it is not meant for Ofeke or the non-initiate. Anyone who wants to be initiated must have truth, Ofor, an undiluted clean character and practice. It is therefore not a life for deceivers, fraudsters, purveyors, or people looking for sharp practices, people that just want to make money. This is not a life for them. The knowledge and wisdom involved are limitless. And even with lifelong study, you still find yourself being a neophyte even after many years. It is therefore impossible to discuss or share with Ofeke, significant part of Igbo spirituality, for the simple reason that what saves can kill and what kills can save. We say, if an Igbo Igbo na azo azo, if an azo azo na Igbo Igbo. Deep knowledge and wisdom can only be passed on to those who have been found worthy in character and in practice to be entrusted with it. And that is why a lot of the knowledge Igbo people had is either lost or hidden so deeply that only those that have been taught how to find this knowledge can actually tap into it. Igbo summarize the situation in this proverb: Akpa Dibia or Akpa Agwo ezuho ndị bụ Dibia, Ofeke pụta nyaba ohu na nnụ. This simply translates as the Holy Spirit bag of knowledge and wisdom is not enough to go around to those who are Dibia. Yet the non-initiates or the Ofeke have come out carrying 20 and 400 bags, purporting them to be Akpa Agwo. The real Akpa Agwo is described by real initiates as what one holds in broad daylight, yet requires appropriate searchlights to see, know, and understand. Fifth is that Igbo spirituality is a life of service. One can only save oneself in the process of saving their fellow human beings. So as you help others, so you help yourself. That is the real spirit of Igbo spirituality. It is therefore not a field for those who want to just make money by lying, by cheating others, by cutting corners, and by doing sharp practices and evil deeds. Therefore, Igbo spirituality requires one to accept ego Ofor bulu. Never touch ego bulu Ofor, maka na ego bulu Ofor na egbu mmadu. And what this means basically in English is that you should only accept money that is killed by Ofor. Never touch money that kills Ofor, because money that kills Ofor also kills man. Further, you must invite a Dibia's services. A Dibia does not invite himself or herself to serve someone. It is in the process of inviting the Dibia that one, in effect, hands Ofor to the Dibia to save that person. Before consulting a Dibia, you should ensure that he or she is a real Dibia, not just a Nwa Dibia, or worse still, an Ofeke pretending to be a Dibia. He or she must be fully initiated and therefore is practicing with Ofor na Ogu, and that he or she is actually keeping to the very strict and numerous do's and don'ts that guide Igbo spirituality. If not, you should ignore their teachings, their practices, their invitations for you to come for their services. Run. Be very vigilant, therefore, to not fall prey to Ofeke or purveyors of hearsay pretending to be what they are not. Finally, before initiation, one's spiritual linkage or foundation to the universal spirit must be accurately ascertained. And whether one will be initiated into Dibia or Nwa Dibia depends on the chi that person has received from Chukwu, the universal spirit. A Dibia can only be initiated by a Dibia. A Nwa Dibia can only initiate a Nwa Dibia. Now, the ability to disseminate information via this media, online, is very limited. So I will conclude here by saying that onye chọọ ịma ife dị n'ime ọzọ, oje chi ọzọ. What that means is if someone wants to know what is inside the Ozo titleship, that person needs to go and get initiated into the Ozo titleship. Similarly, if you want to be a medical doctor, you need to first of all go to nursery school, then primary school, secondary school, finally medical school, and hopefully you graduate with a bachelor's of medicine, a bachelor's degree in medicine. After that, you will still undergo a residency program in a specific discipline of medicine, after which you become a consultant. Then you can say you're a doctor. But to become an even more qualified doctor in a particular field, you would need to complete a fellowship in that particular field, which qualifies you to be called a fellow in that field. So you become an even bigger expert. Now, some people can even go further by conducting research in the field to become professors and actually start teaching. So it is with Dibia. If you want to become a Dibia or a master of knowledge and wisdom, you must first of all go and be initiated. Or Ofor, they'll be given the Ofor Dibia. And then you'll be taught the do's and don'ts of the Dibia, the rules of the Dibia that you must keep. And then subsequently, when you're found worthy, you will now start to be taught what it is to be a Dibia and all the practices that it takes to be a Dibia. Thank you very much. If you want to know more, you can go look up my father's book, After God is Dibia. That is a good start. And there are 2 volumes of that book. That's a very good place to start to learn these basics. I wish you all the best and God bless.